So we're now going to look at the solver function, which is actually pretty nice on this calculator. I like it a lot. So of course you go to solve, and then it says to do new for new equation. So we'll do a new equation. And then let's say that we want to define the area of a triangle, and we're going to be doing this over and over, and it just might be helpful to have a solver to do that calculation for us and have that one equation entered once. So the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So we'll just go ahead and type that in. And this is an algebraic solver, so you're going to enter it in algebraically. So A, and the equals key, is equal to 1/2 of the base. So let's go to our alpha menu, times height. All right, and input. Now, if I wanted to save this equation for later, then I can go ahead and add in a name and then a colon. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll edit that. And let's just call this a, you'll notice here the keys, I can go back and forth, jump to the end, jump to the beginning. Let's go ahead and call this try for triangle. So I'm going to do a T, an R, and an I. And then you'll see this other keeps popping up right here. That gives me some more characters. So I'm going to put a colon, and then that has now named my equation. And then as I have this displayed here, I don't have any other equations listed currently. Bottom of list, top of list. And again, I can jump up to the top, jump down to the bottom if I have multiple equations. But I can use these arrow keys to go up and down between those equations and select which ones I want. So let's go ahead and do a calculation with that. So it verifies that the equation is solvable or doesn't have any characters or syntax that is inaccurate or false. And let's say we have an area of 4. So I'm going to hit 4 and do area, and then a height, a base of 2 here. Sorry. Base of 2, and then I calculate height, just hit the third key. So it calculates, and it calculates the height has to be 4. I want to do a new calculation with this. Now from here I can just do clear data, and that will get rid of all the variables. And let's just do, say our base is 5, and our height is 3, and then we can calculate the area. Now one other thing you can do is also look at each of these variables that you'd entered. So just do recall and then hit the key. And it shows that we entered in 5 as our base. Recall, H, we entered 3 there. Now if I wanted to clear this, I could go ahead and do clear data. And it would say delete all variables. That will again clear those variables that are in that equation. Let's hit no for that. So now if I go to calculate, we've got, if I recall A, I've got 0, recall B, 0, recall H, 0. So it cleared those. If I hit clear data and then choose to delete all equations, then all of the equations that I've got entered will disappear. So now it just says new for new equation. Let's do one more here. Now this would be for the area of a circle. Area of a circle is pi r squared. So hit new, and I'm just going to go ahead and type in my name right now. I'll just call it Sir. Let's put a C on it. Colon. And then A is equal to pi. Pi is actually found in the math menu. We've got pi times, and then because it's an algebraic expression, or because it has a function expression here, I'm going to have to enter in the square before I put in my r, rather than, r squared. So it's the square of r. So let's enter r. and then close your parentheses. And you can use as many parentheses as you want, just to separate things if you've got a numerator or a denominator with multiple functions down there. While I'm thinking about it too, there are a lot of functions that can be entered in that I don't find under the math menu, but will still be useful. You might just have to type those in. So for example, the absolute value of x, that's not an operation that I can find in the math menu or anywhere else on the calculator. But you could type it out in the alpha menu, then your parentheses and your value. The anti-log, you can do date calculations. So just pause the video if you need to and take a look at all of those functions. And then there's a second page here too. Alright, so those are functions that you can enter. Let's hit input for this, and we've got our equation stored. And then similarly as we did last time, let's say we have a radius of 2.5, and we want to calculate the area, 19.63. Or an area of 5, and we want to calculate the radius. So, pretty straightforward solver, but I really like it. It's a nice feature to include on this calculator. Unfortunately, since it's a business calculator and not a scientific one, it also doesn't include any of the trigonometric functions that I would often use. But there we go.